Imagine a place where a man can have 3 wives. Sounds unusual, doesn't it? Now, picture living high up in the mountains with all 3 of them. It might seem like a wild idea, but in one small country, it's actually a reality. That place is Bhutan, a tiny nation tucked away in the southern part of Asia, nestled in the majestic Himalayan mountains. It shares its borders with China to the north, and India to the south, east, and west. The capital city is Thimphu, and Bhutan is well known for its breathtaking mountain scenery, unique cultural identity, and its rare focus on gross national happiness, a philosophy that values well-being over economic gain. Interestingly, Bhutan is also known as one of the most isolated countries in the world, a result of its rugged geography and cautious approach to modernization. To understand how Bhutan became so globally secluded, and how the practice of a man having 3 or more wives fits into this society, we need to take a look at its rich and fascinating history. The earliest known records of Bhutan date back to the 7th century, with the arrival of Buddhism, brought by Guru Rinpoche, also known as Podmas. Buddhism quickly became deeply rooted in Bhutanese life, shaping the country's culture and social systems. Bhutan began to emerge as a unified political state in the 17th century, under the leadership of Lama Nguyen Namgyal, who consolidated warring regions and introduced a unique administrative system based on Zhongkusfort's monasteries that became the center of both government and religion. Throughout the 17th and 18th centuries, Bhutan engaged in frequent conflicts with neighboring Tibet, which aimed to assert its influence over the region. These battles sparked shifts in leadership and territorial disputes. Later, British involvement in Bhutan's border issues led to the Treaty of Sinchala in 1865, which defined Bhutan's borders with British-controlled Bengal. For much of its history, Bhutan remained cut off from the world, only opening its borders in the early 1960s. This long period of isolation allowed the country to preserve its deeply rooted customs and traditions, forming a culture influenced by Tibet, India, and indigenous tribal communities. During the early 20th century, Bhutan fiercely protected its sovereignty and cultural identity, avoiding colonial domination. After India's independence in 1947, Bhutan strengthened its relationship with the newly formed Indian government, leading to the 1949 Treaty of Peace and Friendship. This agreement laid the foundation for cooperation in areas like security and foreign policy. As Bhutan began embracing modernization, it introduced social and economic reforms, leading to its gradual opening to the outside world. Since that time, Bhutan has undergone rapid development. In 2008, the country adopted a democratic constitution, marking a historic transition to a constitutional monarchy under the leadership of King Jigme Namgyal Wangchuk. Despite its limited natural resources, Bhutan has managed to maintain stable economic growth. The shift from absolute monarchy to constitutional governance began with the abdication of King Jigme Wangchuk in favor of his son, ushering in an era of political reform and democratic participation. Now, let's explore what makes Bhutan's economy so fascinating and different. Unlike most countries, Bhutan measures success not just by gross domestic product (GDP), but by something called gross national happiness (GNA). That's right, Bhutan genuinely values the happiness and well-being of its people, just as much as financial prosperity. This unique approach centers on sustainable development, cultural preservation, environmental conservation, and social equity. Here, economic growth is viewed through a broader lens, taking into account not just numbers and statistics, but the quality of life, education, healthcare, community life, and even spiritual values. So, what drives Bhutan's economy? Agriculture plays a vital role, with key crops including rice, barley, and maize. While livestock farming also supports rural livelihoods, cattle also play a vital role in the livelihoods of Bhutanese people. Meanwhile, tourism has become an increasingly profitable sector in Bhutan's economy. The country follows a unique tourism policy, limiting the number of visitors to ensure sustainable and high-quality tourism. Visitors are required to pay a daily fee, which covers accommodation, meals, guides, and transportation. Bhutan is also rich in natural resources, with hydroelectric power being one of the most valuable. The export of electricity, mainly to India, contributes significantly to Bhutan's national income. However, responsible management of these resources is key to securing long-term benefits. Bhutan's commitment to sustainable development is truly remarkable. The country works hard to balance economic growth with environmental conservation. Initiatives like the ban on hunting and the promotion of eco-friendly farming practices reflect this dedication. In 2023, Bhutan's gross domestic product (GDP) was approximately $3 billion. Despite its innovative policies, Bhutan still faces notable economic challenges. These include a dependence on a limited number of revenue streams and the urgent need to diversify its economy to achieve long-term stability. The country's rugged landscape and cold climate restrict agricultural expansion, while its reliance on tourism makes it vulnerable to global economic or political disruptions. To overcome these obstacles, the Bhutanese government is investing in education, infrastructure, and sustainable development. Are you enjoying this content? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with others who might find it interesting. Your support helps us continue bringing you unique documentaries every week. Now, here's something truly fascinating about Bhutan. Polygamy is an accepted and legal practice. Surprised? In Bhutan, both men and women can have multiple spouses as long as all parties give their consent. While this may seem unusual in cultures where monogamy is the norm, in Bhutan, polygamy is more common among men and is sometimes viewed as a way to increase wealth and status. A man with multiple wives can own more land, raise more livestock, and have more children, ultimately boosting his influence in the community and extending his family line. But the practice isn't without problems. Jealousy, competition, and conflicts between wives can lead to strained relationships, or even domestic violence. Bhutan's 2008 constitution doesn't explicitly mention polygamy. However, the country's civil code allows a man to legally marry up to 4 wives. Though the tradition has declined due to modernization and Western influence, it remains relatively common in Bhutan's rural areas. Let's look at some numbers. According to the 2022 census, about 5% of marriages in Bhutan are polygamous. The practice is more prevalent in rural regions, where it accounts for about 10% of marriages, compared to only 3% in urban areas. Now here's a fun question for you. Would you live in Bhutan with 3 wives? Share your thoughts in the comments. Speaking of Bhutanese women, they are known for their dark eyes and hair, often black, with full lips and a natural elegance. They wear vibrant, traditional clothing, reflecting their deep cultural pride and identity. But Bhutanese women are much more than their appearance. They are recognized for their strength, resilience, and devotion, whether managing households, contributing to the community, or preserving cultural traditions. They play a crucial role in Bhutanese society. They are proud of their heritage, deeply involved in family life, and actively participate in social and religious events. More and more Bhutanese women are becoming educated, engaged in politics, and are strong advocates for women's rights. Truly, Bhutanese women are remarkable, a source of inspiration, not only within their own country, but around the world. So, what are your thoughts on Bhutanese women? Let us know in the comments. Bhutan truly stands apart, a nation that blends tradition and progress in the most fascinating ways. Known for its challenging yet fascinating geography, Bhutan is a landlocked country in South Asia, bordered by China to the north and India to the south. Lacking any access to the sea, its landscape is dominated by majestic mountains, forming part of the mighty Himalayan range. The country's highest peak, Gangkhar Puensum, rises dramatically to around 7,570 meters, making it one of the tallest unclimbed mountains in the world. Bhutan is also home to many ancient monasteries and shrines, with the most iconic being the legendary Tiger's Nest Monastery, or Paro, Taktsang, built in 1692. This stunning monastery appears to be almost suspended in mid-air, clinging to the edge of a cliff at over 3,100 meters in altitude. It is second in elevation only to the Hangduan Monastery in Tibet. Bhutan's soaring peaks descend into deep river valleys, where people have carved out their lives and cultivated the land for generations. Rivers like the Amo Chu and its tributaries are lifelines for the nation, essential for both agriculture and hydroelectric power, a major pillar of the Bhutanese economy. The country is also home to sacred lakes like Parosho and Guwahati Lake, which hold deep cultural and spiritual significance. Because of its dramatic shifts in altitude, Bhutan boasts a variety of climates, from subtropical in the south to alpine in the north. This diversity nurtures a rich biodiversity, making the country a haven for both plant and animal life. Despite its small size, Bhutan is one of the world's biodiversity hotspots, and it's fiercely committed to environmental preservation. Surrounded by Tibet to the north and various Indian states to the south, east and west, Bhutan holds a strategic geographic position. However, its rugged terrain often makes travel difficult, with many remote regions accessible only by foot. The capital city, Thimphu, sits in the scenic Wangchu River Valley in western Bhutan. The country's striking geography plays a central role in shaping its culture, economy, and daily life. Towering mountains and secluded valleys are not just natural wonders, they are part of Bhutan's identity. In this deeply spiritual land, monks hold a revered place in society. They are the guardians of Buddhism, dedicating their lives to study, prayer, and meditation. Many young Bhutanese begin their monastic journey at the age of 12. After finishing their basic education within these remote and sacred monasteries, monks study subjects such as logic, mathematics, and even martial arts. Alongside reading and writing in Jonka, Bhutan's official language, these monastic centers are hubs of learning and spiritual development, giving monks the space and peace to grow. Bhutan has an estimated 20,000 monks, most of whom are trained in the Tibetan Buddhist tradition. They serve their communities as teachers, spiritual advisors, and leaders, conducting important rituals and festivals. Monks are truly the pillars of Bhutanese culture, offering guidance, wisdom, and a spiritual anchor to the people. If you're thinking of traveling to Bhutan, it's good to understand the local cost of living. Surprisingly, accommodation in Bhutan is quite affordable, with comfortable stays offering stunning views at modest rates. However, dining can be more expensive. For example, a kilogram of rice costs about $1 to $2. Chicken starts at around $15 per kilogram, and beef can reach up to $110 per kilogram. Popular dishes like imadachi, a spicy chili and cheese soup, can cost around $10, while shakampa, a traditional dried beef dish, may go for about $16 at a regular restaurant. So while you might save on lodging, meals can stretch your budget. This is largely due to Bhutan's limited arable land and heavy reliance on imports for food supplies. Still, Bhutan remains an extraordinary country, rich in history, culture, and natural beauty. Its towering peaks, lush valleys, and warm people offer a deep and unforgettable connection to nature and tradition. Have you ever considered visiting more, even living in Bhutan? Do you think you could embrace all this remarkable nation has to offer? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might be interested. We bring you new documentaries every week now. Check out the next video on your screen. It explores another Asian country that remains largely unknown in the West. That's it for today. Until next time.